Hello and welcome to JumpStart Studios. I'm your host, Shawn Martin, and joining me today again in studio are the guys from the Absolute Intense Wrestling promotion, Pedro and John. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. Doing good. Thanks for having us back.
No problem. And just for our viewers at home, in case they don't know what Absolute Intense Wrestling is.
It is an independent professional wrestling organization based in Cleveland, Ohio, and we have been promoting live professional wrestling since 2005. I got that down at this point.
You do. That's
It should be like on a business card or something.
that. Hey, there you go. Some business cards. You guys don't need business cards. You guys are very heavy in social media. You got tons of followers.
I don't like phone calls, you know?
Right.
He won't even take phone calls from me. So.
I'm not a phone call guy. I'm a text guy.
I hear that. Why aren't you calling me? I'll call you in a minute. So
That's literally what it is. Like, it'll just go right to his voicemail. Hey man, what do you need?
I'm not a phone call guy.
I hear that. So Absolute Intense Wrestling, you guys have been around for 13 years.
Long years.
Long.
And it's going good.
Long road.
Long road.
So you have an event coming up in March 23rd, Friday, March 23rd. It's called Gauntlet For The Gold 13. So I'm assuming this is the 13th time you put this event on.
Yes, this is one of our longest running annual events. And you'll notice there's a bit of a price increase for this one compared to our last few events that you spoke to us about in studio. And that is just based on us trying to get a little bit more fiscally responsible. You know, that's the hot button term these days.
Right.
You know, just going back to that long road and learning those hard lessons that we have learned over 13 years is, you know, sometimes you gotta bump those ticket prices up a little bit to even things out. This is something that we started doing last year, and the fans were pretty accepting of it and understanding what you know, what the purpose of it is.
And then plus the fact this is Gauntlet For The Gold, and if no one is familiar with it, it's similar to a Royal Rumble per se.
Royal Rumble rules.
Royal Rumble rules.
Rumble Royale. For
And
legal
I feel that brings in, you're going to have to sign more people to be on the card.
It has to. So that match alone will have 30 people in it. So it's typically very similar to the WWE's Royal Rumble, which is, you know, two guys start and then every 90 seconds, a new guy comes in, and you know the only way to get eliminated is over the top rope with both feet touching the floor. So this event requires a lot more talent to be there.
Right.
Not only not only are we having that match to end the night, you know, we're gonna have a full card before
8 more
that.
matches before that.
You know,
Right.
7 to 8 more matches happening before that even starts. So just you know, going over the finances in the books. You know, there was a time, even, you know, as close as to last year, to where we were in a bit of debt, and you know, we realized that we needed to do some things to change and kind of get the ship steered in the right direction. So
come out of the red a little bit.
Right. So
yeah, I mean, and you mentioned a price increase, and I'm looking at it here, and it's really
it's only $10 more for this. For this event. And we do it 4 times a year, so which is our 4 big annual events. So we'll do it at the Gauntlet For The Gold. We'll do it for our GT Lightning Invitational Tournament weekend, which is 3 events over 2 days.
Wow.
And then we will do it for our big annual event, which is Absolution. That's kind of compared to our WrestleMania, so to speak. Yep. And you know, our longest running annual event is an event called Hell on Earth, which is always the day after Thanksgiving. So we've increased the 4 annuals by $10, and then all the other events go back our normal price. This is just kind of give us a little breathing room coming out of there a little bit.
I like that format, having 4 main events throughout the year.
Yeah, and then we
it's
because it may be familiar.
It may be a little familiar to some wrestling fans, but it makes sense. I think it's a great thing. And then, so Gauntlet For The Gold, I believe I was at Gauntlet For The Gold 3.
I think so.
And it was, you know, if you guys aren't familiar with, you know, independent wrestling and independent wrestling federations, and you think they're just, you know, they're not really wrestling. These guys are out there. They are athletes, and they're landing some moves that you're not going to see on the big show.
There's a stigma, I think, based on what maybe the media has promoted non-WWE wrestling to be, which is the media loves showing the backyard wrestling clips or the just anything that they can do to make it look minor league, to where an organization like us, and there's plenty throughout the country that are very much putting on very professional shows with world-class talent. We bring in talent from not just Cleveland, Ohio. We've brought talent in from Japan and Ireland and Scotland and California, Canada, Mexico, all over the globe. We're trying to seek out the best of the best available talent, which that means uncontracted to the WWE. And you said that you were at Gauntlet for the Gold 3. Do you remember who won that?
I vaguely familiar, but refresh my memory.
A guy named Sterling James Keenan won that event that you were at.
I wanted you to say it, but
who is now known as Corey Graves, the voice of Monday Night Raw and a million other shows.
He's on
205 Live, Mixed Match.
He was a great wrestler. He was one of your great champions that held the title there for a while.
Multiple times.
And I'm not sure exactly what. Yeah, I believe he had an injury.
Yeah, he was signed to a WWE contract. He was there for several years, and he had an injury, which was just too many concussions back to back, which forced him to retire. With all the kind of intel that we have on concussions these days and football, that also applies to wrestling, and people are getting a lot more cautious of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he was forced to retire, but luckily for him, he was kind of a multi-talented person. One of his main talents was being able to talk on the microphone and interviews and promos, promoting his matches. So they transitioned him to commentary.
Yeah.
Now he's the voice of the WWE.
Yeah, Michael Cole, who I don't even care. Like I think Corey is fantastic up there. Everything that I don't know, he's just great.
And I think that kind of goes to what's great about independent wrestling is because at that time, he was just a guy there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now you can look back and you spent probably close to a year of your life just being around this guy, you know what I mean? And he would, if you saw him on the street, he would probably remember you, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Right.
But that's what makes independent wrestling so great is you get to see these guys on their way up, kind of make these memories, and it's kind of cool to be able to go and say, hey, I know that guy. You know what I mean? So that's what's great about AIW, and what we do is you see a lot of those guys on the way up. Like I believe you said 25
on the current roster.
25 people on the WWE main roster have competed in an AIW ring, or have been AIW champions, or
one of their latest signings, Ronda Rousey. She wasn't even part of the AIW. Is that right? She just showed up.
She showed up, yeah.
Because she wanted to see a great event.
That's another thing. We've had several celebrities come and just to watch the shows. Ronda Rousey was there. We've had Browns players and just all kinds of just random celebrities. Whatever they're in town, they're looking for something to do, and that's the power of social media and being able to see that, see that stuff. They discover the shows and they come and they hang out, and I wound up hanging out with Ronda Rousey for an entire night.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about Gauntlet for the Gold. Where's it going to be?
It's going to be.
How much is it again? And where can I find tickets?
Front row is going to be $40. They're going to be available at shop.AIWrestling.com or just AIWrestling.com. Either way, you can get to the store from there. Front row is $40. That is limited to only 65 tickets.
Okay.
And once those 65 are sold, there are no more. We don't add additional front row tickets.
Right.
That's it. After that, general admission begins in the second row, and then that's the rest of the seats available.
And that's first come, first up. First come, first serve. You get there early enough, you're going to get a great seat.
Right. Yeah.
And
you could sit as close as the second row. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Not at all.
We're not running, the Quicken Loans Arena.
Right.
We're running. I'm not going to dress it up. It's a high school gym.
Right.
So if you've ever been to a high school basketball game, that's what you're working with there. So there's not a bad seat.
Not at all.
If you only want to spend $20, you're not too sure what you're getting into. Take the risk, spend the $20, and I would bet that after you spend the $20, you're gonna want to try to get in on those front rows.
I know my friend that I brought to the last event, he said, we have got to sit front row next time. I'm like, dude, we're like only 6 rows back. He's like, nope, I need to be up there and yelling and screaming at them. So
yeah, that's another thing is it's so much more interactive than a WWE
Right.
event in a big arena.
Right.
If you say something to a guy,
he's gonna hear you, and
he's gonna hear you, and he's gonna turn around, and he's gonna interact back with you, and
that's for sure.
It's just such a more intimate experience. That's why I got involved in independent wrestling. It's just so. It's different than anything else that you can go to and experience, and that's why I decided to start promoting it.
Right, and then so Gauntlet for the Gold. I think you explained it's similar to the Royal Rumble, 30 men enter. Now I know at the big corporation and their Royal Rumble event, they tend to have surprise guests. Do you have anyone lined up that maybe you'd want to hint on, or you're going to save that for the event?
We're saving that for the event. It's always kind of an ongoing thing. We try to get a couple surprises in here and there, which is can range anywhere from a debuting talent that everyone would know to somebody from AIW's past that maybe only the hardcore AIW fans would know. Now,
John, when I interned there at the Absolute Intense Wrestling, I remember you were wrestling a lot back in those days.
Not anymore.
Are you going to be making a surprise entrance into the Gauntlet?
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Okay.
It's always on the table.
One of the matches I saw you in was fans bring the weapons to the match, and you got your face smashed into 4 fluorescent light bulbs, and they just kind of shattered all over the ring. But
not going to be seeing too much of that anymore these days. That just kind of goes to how we kind of evolved with the times, and at that time that was the kind of wrestling that was selling videos.
Oh yeah.
Kind of this really underground fight clubby vibe of wrestling.
Some kind of extreme type of thing.
And that was how we made money. We would sell DVDs of that. Now as we grow, we've kind of grown into a more universally liked product for the most part.
Right.
You're going to hear some maybe 4-letter words here and there.
Maybe a couple chair shots, but
yeah, nothing that violent anymore for the most
not as
part.
many barbed wire matches as there were back in the day.
It's just coming out of the 90s into the early 2000s, that was just kind of how society was, and now we've grown so much since then.
I still have so much barbed wire in my basement, though.
Keep it there.
What do you do with it, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's wrestling. You're gonna see. You're gonna see a former WWE legend probably, and then someone's gonna. This guy's got a basement full of barbed wire. It brings the weirdest people together.
It does.
Well, that's great. Guys, thanks for being on the show again.
Thank you.
And if you guys want to go check out Gauntlet for the Gold, March 23rd, doors open at 6 and the bell time is 7:30. Check them out at AIWrestling.com.
Shop.AIWrestling.com.
Thank you very much for that. One more time.
Shop.AIWrestling.com.
There we go. Check them out. Guys, you got to go see this show. It's going to be fantastic. And guys, thanks again for joining.
You're going to be there, right?
I'll be there.
Is your wife going to let you out?
I'll bring my other wife. I'll bring my wrestling date wife.
Caught you off guard.
Well,
right?
yeah, you did. Thanks a lot. Anyways, and on that note, we'll see you at the show.